Dear students, welcome to MNR's digital classes. In this session, we are going to discuss about Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. This session is the fifth of the astrophysics module. Hertzsprung-Russell diagram are simply HR diagram. In the early 20th century, around 1905, Einar Hertzsprung of Denmark, Henry Norris Russell of USA, the two renowned astrophysicists at that time, discovered through their experience and independently of each other that the spectral types of the stars are equivalently the colors were closely correlated with their intrinsic luminosity or equivalently their absolute magnitudes. They found that the luminosity of the star decreased from spectral type O to M class. Einar Hertzsprung from Denmark and Henry Norris Russell from USA, they independently discovered this idea that luminosity of the star decreases from the spectral types O class to M class. Hertzsprung and Russell independently developed the technique of plotting the absolute magnitudes as a function of spectral types of the stars whose distances were known at that time in 1913. Surprisingly, they independently found that there is a regular pattern was shown by the position of the stars in their diagrams. These diagrams are called as Hertzsprung-Russell or simply HR diagrams. So HR diagram is a plotted by taking the absolute magnitudes along y-axis and the corresponding spectral types along the x-axis. This is one way of representing. Alternatively, it is plotted as a function of temperature along x-axis, the luminosity ratio along y-axis. This graph is called as HR diagram. The absolute magnitudes are taken along y-axis. The corresponding spectral classes are taken along x-axis. Similarly, the luminosity ratio along y-axis or the temperature along x-axis. There are two ways of plotting the graph. One way, the parameters are axis along the y-axis, the absolute magnitude, x-axis, the color spectral type, OBA, F, D, K, M. And another way is taking the luminosity ratio, that is luminosity as a function of the solar mass, ratio of solar mass is taken along y-axis. The corresponding surface temperature is taken along y-axis. Observe that the coolest star will be here. Now let us discuss that later on. So HR diagrams are the non-linear plots of luminosity in solar units on y-axis and stellar temperatures on x-axis are called as Hertzsprung-Russell or HR diagrams. This is one way of expressing the HR diagram. Here, the definition is given in terms of luminosity as a function of stellar temperature. Alternatively, we can define HR diagram as the non-linear plots of the absolute magnitudes on y-axis and the stellar, spectral classes on x-axis. Uses the HR diagrams. Here we have the plot taking luminosity in terms of solar units on y-axis and the stellar temperature along x-axis. Note here the temperature is taken in the decreasing order, 40,000 to 3,000. The closer look of this HR diagram reveals that the hot stars inhabit on the left side of the diagram, whereas on the left side there is hot stars will be inhabited, whereas on the right side of this HR diagram, cooler stars will be positioned. Then the brighter stars means greater luminosity will occupy the top left corner of the HR diagram. Fainter stars will occupy right corner of the HR diagram. Bright stars on the top, faint stars at the bottom. Hot stars left side, cool stars right side, bright stars top, bright stars on the top position and cool stars at the bottom position. In addition to this, we have most of the stars, including our sun, which is an average star, and in its middle sits near the middle and a sequence running from the hot luminous stars to cool dim stars. It means if we draw a diagonal to this HR diagram running from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, all the stars occupying along this diagonal are called as main sequence stars. Now, there are two ways of plotting the graph, HR diagram, as we discussed already. Which graph is the correct one? Both are correct. It depends on the astrophysicist. Usually, the theoretical astrophysicists consider the surface temperature as a function of luminosity, while the observers, that is experimental astronomers, plot the graph color as a function of absolute magnitude. Since these two parameters are experimentally measurable values and these two parameters can be calculated theoretically, theoretical physicists use luminosity temperature plots, whereas the experimental astronomers use spectral class as a function of absolute magnitude as a function of spectral classes. Now let us understand the HR diagram. The first one is main sequence stars. Now if you make the observation, we have a cluster of stars grouped at various parts of the HR diagram. We have a band or a sequence of stars running from the top left corner, that is hot and luminous and the brighter stars, to the lower part, that is the cool and fainter stars. This band of or the sequence of stars are called as main sequence stars. Most of the stars, almost 90% of the stars in the sky occupy this main sequence band, and these stars are all the stars in this band spend most of their lifespan in the main sequence stage only. Next, giant stars. Above this main sequence, we find a cluster of stars in group in the higher luminosity region or the brighter region. They are called as giant stars. The star clusters are rich in stars just above the main sequence are called as red giants. If you see this, just above the main sequence, we have a cluster of stars, a group of stars. They are called as red giant stars. The stars, those lie just above the main sequence, are called as subgiants. Between these two, we have a cluster of stars. Actually, it is not shown here. They are called as subgiants. They are in between red giants and main sequence. We have a cluster. They are called as subgiant stars. The hot and brightest stars are called as hypergiants. This is also not shown here. We have a small cluster of stars which are brightest and hottest stars, and they are called as hypergiants. There are also a handful of stars which are red and very bright, they are called as supergiant stars. Observe here, the red but brighter, they are called as supergiants. Red giants, supergiants, a cluster of stars, brighter and hotter and brighter, they are the subgiants, and hottest and brightest, they are called as hypergiants. Next one is the stars which lies below this main sequence stage. They are called as dwarf stars. The faint and hot stars are called as white dwarfs. So faint, lesser luminosity occupies below. Hot means to the left side. So faint and hotter stars will occupy the lower bottom left corner of the chart diagram and are called as white dwarf stars. White dwarf stars have low luminosity and therefore they occupy a strip at the bottom of the HR diagram. The cool faint stars that occupy the bottom right corner are called as red dwarfs. We have a cluster of stars at the bottom right corner of the HR diagram. They are called as red dwarfs or brown dwarfs. Sometimes they are also called as brown dwarf stars. The stars, those lie in between the main sequence branch and the dwarf branch. They are called as subdwarfs. Here, that is also not shown actually in this diagram. Subdwarf, we have a cluster of small group of stars which lies in between main sequence and the white dwarf branch. They are called as subdwarf stars. If you make the careful observation of this HR diagram, the region in the between the main sequence branch and the giant branch is almost empty. This in region in which there are no stars occupied is called as Hertzsprung gap. Now, with this brief description of the HR diagram, let us understand what is the importance of this HR diagram or physical significance. This HR diagram is a key tool in understanding the stars and tracing their evolution. Now observe here, when a star takes its birth in a giant magellanic cloud, starts growing, and over a span of few billions of years, they will enter into the main sequence stage. This plot, HR diagram clearly indicates that lesser the mass of the star, greater is the time taken for the star to enter into main sequence stage. It means a star with less mass takes more time to occupy the stable state, that is hydrostatic equilibrium, and to ignite the thermonuclear fusion reactions. So a star with mass 0.5 times the mass of the sun takes almost 160 billion years to reach the main sequence stage. Whereas a star with mass almost 10 times the mass of the sun will take only 60,000 years to reach the main sequence stage. It means lesser the mass, more is the time taken by the star to become a main sequence star. Whereas more massive the star, lesser is the time required to enter into the main sequence stage. The stars begin their life on the main sequence stage, but then evolve off into red giant stage phase and supergiant phase, and before they dying out as white dwarfs or some more violent endpoint. Now, here we have a look at the evolution of different stars with different masses. The star like sun gets evolved into a red giant, then it goes to horizontal branch, then it enters into supergiant stage, asymptotic giant branch, and then it eventually ends up as a white dwarf. If you take a star with average mass of 5 times the solar mass, it after completing the thermonuclear reactions, it eventually directly enters into the supergiant, then a horizontal branch, and finally ends up in a some more violent endpoint. Similarly, the stars with mass 10 times the mass of the sun, they become supergiants and they end up their life with some other endpoint. Now, let us take the example of the track of the star-like sun. Now, if we consider the sun, it is 4.5 billion years old as now, and over a time span of 12 billion years, it gets converted into red giant stage. Then it moves its lifespan along the horizontal branch. Then it moves to asymptotic giant branch to super giant stage. And finally, the core explodes, leading to the planetary nebula. And the outer surface explodes to leading to planetary nebula and inner core contracts. And eventually, it gets converted into white dwarf. So the conclusion is just by tracing the star on the chart diagram, we can come to know about what is the exact stage of the life stage of the star, and also what how it ends up its life. All the evolution of the star can be clearly understood by understanding the HR diagram. Thank you.